There, I think that's a little bit better. Okay, so here is this beautiful fall card, and this is with the All About Autumn Designer Series paper, which I've been waiting for it to come back in stock. It is absolutely to die for. It's the most gorgeous papers. Both sides are just really so pretty, and you see I've used most of it up. Here are a couple more sheets, a couple more of the designs, and I have these pulled out because I'm going to be doing a different card with these, and the backs are just beautiful too. And this is the one that I used for this card here, but I need this design for another card. So we're going to do this card, but just a little bit different. And this paper, All About Autumn, it's a 6x6 DSP pack. These should be back in stock any day now. Any day now. Fingers crossed, God willing, and the creek don't rise, right? So, but this has a couple interesting things. I did use a lot of different die sets with this, but this is a wax resist using wax paper, and it's been a long time since I saw that originally done, and I don't think I've ever done a video with it. Maybe Stamp Your Heart Out, maybe who I originally saw it from. I really don't remember. It's been a long time. But anyways, I think that's really interesting, and we're going to go ahead and do this wax resist technique. And, well, I'm not going to do the acorns. Instead, for this card, I'm going to put the pears on here, and the pears are beautiful. I'll have all of the materials listed down below, but the pear is from the Fruitful Blessings set, and I'm going to be using the I'm Thankful Today and Every Day from the Autumn Leaves set. So these are just some beautiful sets right here. Wishing You Many Blessings is a beautiful thing. I might put that on the inside, actually. Well, okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do, I want to get started with some of the embossing that I've got here, because not only do I have to do the wax resist, but I have to do a special little thing modifying the size of this die. This die is using the the stitched nested essentials, and I really like these stitched nested essentials. You've got a nice rounded rectangle, you've got this lovely long one, and then you've got the banners. So I'm using the largest banner, but as you see, this banner is not long enough for what I want to use. So I'm going to have to modify the size of the banner. So I'm going to put this right here to the edge. Let's just jump right in. This is just regular vellum. This would be really pretty if you used some vellum that had a floral look to it. That would be really pretty too. So here's my mini stamp and emboss, cut and emboss machine. Isn't it so cute? This is a really shaky table, so I don't, I just don't want to put the big one on here, but this will fit in the mini. So here I'll put my bottom base, my bottom cutting plate. Now what I'm going to do is, okay, I need to trim that just a wee bit. Let me trim off the edges. I thought it would fit as is, but nope. Trash can. Okay, that'll fit. Okay, I'm going to put this right up to the edge. Do you see how I'm getting it right to the edge? But when I put it on the cutting plate, I'm going to hang it off the side so that this bottom half won't cut. I hope you can see that. I've got it hanging off the side so the bottom half doesn't cut. There's no base underneath there. Without the base underneath there, there's no pressure to hold it. And there you go. Okay, let's see if I can do it with my left hand. Okay, let me pull it out. Now, peel it off. And you see it's not cut through all the way. So, I'm going to turn it around, put that back on there. I do this a lot. I find that I do this a lot. I change the sizes. And I'm going to just move this up so that it's all the way to the end. And I'm going to have the front part hanging off so there's nothing under there, so it's not going to cut that. And there we go. Let me run that through. Lovely. Whoopsie. And there I have a longer piece, a piece that is cut longer than the actual die itself. And I did get it off a little bit, so I'm just going to take my paper snips and just kind of trim it just to smooth it off. There we go. Let me get this out of the way. Now, I'm not really done. Let me put this here so I don't lose it. Okay, now I'm not really done with this vellum yet. On the original card, you see it's got some interesting little stitch marks. Those little stitch marks are from another die set. These are the autumn leaves. Okay, let me get that out of the way so I can show you these autumn leaves. My sentiment will be cut. The little extra piece will be cut from, these are all in this die set. Okay, and then I'm going to use this long one on my vellum. But look at all these other beautiful leaf dies. Isn't that just an amazing set? I think you've got just such a great selection here. So, I like this, and I like that it's got these extra little texture-y things. So let me get that out of the way. Okay, let me bring this back over here. And where's my vellum? Let me turn it around. I do much better with that with my right hand. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and I'm going to put this about halfway between the bottom, the middle point, and the edge. There we go. You know, I'm just going to grab a little bit of washi tape here. Use a Post-it note. Hold that down. And I'm going to put that through real quick. See, even this little one shakes my table. Okay. Now I'm going to, oopsie, carefully take that off. Take the washi tape off. Let's get this carefully pulled out. Sometimes vellum will be a little brittle, and you kind of got to be careful once in a while because you might literally tear it. But if you're careful, it's okay. Put that back there. Go. And there we have it. Now I've got, let me fold up my little set. Isn't that adorable? I love it, I love it. It's so cute. Let me take my washi tape off. There we go. Get the plates out of the way. Now this vellum was 2.5 inches by 4 to begin with, and like I say, I'll have all the measurements down below. So, okay, so there we go. So now you see it's got the stitching around the outside, but it's also got this little interesting stitching through there. Okay, I'm going to put this somewhere safe where I don't lose it. The next thing I want to do with you guys is, let me just go ahead and do all of my embossing, because my sentiment, I'm thankful, and my pears, here's the acorn, but here's the pears. That'll be embossed. Okay, I'm going to emboss that with copper. Where's my embossing stuff? Okay, this little embossing set is awesome. It comes with your tweezers so that you don't burn your fingers with the heat gun. It's got the brush to brush off your extra powder and to help push it out of here. Now our embossing powders do come in sets of 3. This is the metallic set. It's got the gold, the silver, and the copper. And so I'm just going to grab some VersaMark right here. Put these to the side. If you work quickly, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Okay. If you work quickly, just the ink pad alone, look at that. Just the ink pad alone should be enough. But to be on the safe side, I'm going to also use the VersaMark. Okay? So I'm going to take the VersaMark, and I'm going to have the VersaMark ready. And I'm going to stamp. Now the bigger stamp goes on the bottom whenever you're stamping. These are both about the same size. I guess it doesn't matter, but I'll put the stamp down, and I'm going to VersaMark it up. And where is the I'm Thankful? And here's the I'm Thankful. I'm going to go ahead and ink up the I'm Thankful also. That's photopolymer, so I'll need to use that with this. Okay. Let me make sure it's all inked up. What direction do I want to do this? It's easier when you're doing this not having to like figure out your order of operations. I'm going to take my Stampin' Buddy and I'm going to rub it on the scrap Very Vanilla that I'm going to be doing my stamping on. Kind of helps make sure that the ink doesn't go, that the embossing powder doesn't go where you don't want it. Okay, so I've got the VersaMark on there. It's clear. It's not going to do anything to my ink pad. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it on the copper clay. I guess I didn't need to do that. And put it there. Let's see how this looks. I was going to do it with just the copper, and then I thought, oh, let me do it with copper clay. Okay, we'll see. That'll be good. That'll be good. And I'm going to take my I'm Thankful. What did I do with the stamp? Let me cover that. What did I do with the sentiment? Here it is. There. This is photopolymer, so I'm going to want to put it on a pad. Put a little bit of padding under it. There we go. Now before I get around pouring too much, I do want to cover that. Okay, so I've already got the powder poured over the pears. Now I've got it poured over the sentiment. Okay, there we go. Look at this. This is so cool. So now you just take the little end off. You just screw the little end off. And it goes in just like that. Just boop. Right down back into the jar. I love it. Yeah, you can do it with paper, but this makes sure you don't. It gives a little bit of a buffer. I like having the wall, so it makes it a little bit easier than just having paper. Okay. And of course I was talking and moved it while I was doing it, so I got a little bit there. It's okay. Get that put away. Get the rest of my powder up. That's good. Okay, now I have to get the heat gun going. It's going to be a little loud. Okay, isn't that just so pretty? I love embossing. It's just so pretty. I'm going to cut that out in just a moment with the dies. Let me get this out of the way. Let me get my mini machine back up here. Isn't that cute how it just folds up like that so neatly out of the way? Now the pears, I am going to be using the die that's in with the Fruitful Blessings. These Fruitful Blessings are great dies. You've got your acorns, you've got individual acorns, you've got leaves, you've got corn. Look, you even got your little corn kernels to put on the corn cob. Nice little sprigs. This is the corn silk. So this Fruitful Blessings is a lovely set. Goes along so nicely with the autumn leaves. Let me grab my scissors. And I'm actually going to just cut this out like that. And my sentiment here, I can cut that one out. Oh, and in copper clay, I'm going to do the other little sentiment. Let me grab its photopolymer also, so I'm going to take that. This is also from the autumn leaves. I did the I'm Thankful, and here is cute little Today and Everyday. Isn't that cute? It's just a little itty bitty thing that I'll put on the bottom. Okay. And I should probably be able to get it all on here at the same time, hopefully. Okay, let me get my base back here. Alright, let's see if we can fit it all on here together. I'm Thankful. I can trim this down. And that way I'll get it all through at the same time. Let me put some washi tape on that to hold it. And let's get the pears. Oh, how cute. Loving it. Loving it. These pears are so pretty when they're colored. Wait till you see how pretty it's going to look. Honestly, I thought pears, really? But, oh, it really is pretty. Look at this tiny little skinny little word window. And it fits right across there. And I'll get all three of these cut out at the same time. One pass. Okay. There's my pears. There's my main sentiment. There's my little itty bitty sentiment that I'm going to stick on top of my main sentiment. Alright, alright. Now, the next interesting thing that we have to do is the ink resist. Okay? So the ink resist, I grabbed the Fern's Embossing Folder, and the Falling Leaves Embossing Folder would be perfect with this, but for some reason I just kind of grabbed the Fern one, and I took wax paper, just regular wax paper from your kitchen. I've already put this through because I had to use my full-size machine, and I embossed the wax paper with my embossing folder. Look how cool that looks. Now, I think that looks really cool as is, and you could use something like that on your card. I think that would look really cool on a card. But what we're going to do is we are going to take this, I believe it's 2 1/4. Yes, 2 1/4 by 5 1/2 panel. And I'm going to use my iron, okay? I'm going to fold this over because I'm not sure exactly which side is going to drop the wax or not. And I'm going to, oops, get a piece of scratch paper here. Put it over there so I don't worry about getting wax on my iron. Now I have an iron and it's on high and there's absolutely no water in it. It's dry. You don't want a steam iron. So I'm going to put this on here and it's going to melt the wax onto this very vanilla cardstock. I guess a better way to do it would be to have two pieces of cardstock and put the wax in between, put the wax paper in between the two. Let's see what we got here. You're not really going to see anything. I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to do it on the other side also. And I should have the design melted onto my cardstock. Get this unplugged before I set something on fire. There we go. Okay. Now, when you look at your cardstock, you don't see anything. And apparently, my wax was on the bottom side of it. So what I'm going to do now, have you seen these? Have you seen in the catalog these nifty brush holders? Yeah, I like them. So I'm going to grab my copper clay and I'm just going to lightly use a blender brush and lightly sponge some color onto here. You always start off of the side. Don't ever start straight on your cardstock. See, that's not really showing up. Okay, here we go. Getting a little bit of interest in there. Little bit. Okay, I wasn't happy with that. I wanted a better impression, so I went ahead and cut two pieces, 2.5 by 5.5, 2.25 by 5.5, and I've got the wax paper sandwiched in between them. So that'll be better. And I'm just going to sit this iron on top of it and let it just sit there a minute, melt that wax. Okay. And we're going to go with this regardless of how it turns out. Because life is moving on. Okay, I'm pretty sure the best imprint will be on the bottom. We'll see. So I've got a little bit of copper clay here. Where is it? There it is. It's coming out a little bit now. There we go. It's on the bottom here, and it is coming out. So here I've got some copper clay. And it's going to be subtle. It's going to be subtle. It wasn't the deepest imprint. And here I've got some crushed curry. There you see it's coming out there. And like I say, always start your blending brush off of your paper because you will get a blob. Don't you just love this blending brush stand? Keeps everything perfect. Now this is just a little dab of Flirty Flamingo because I just love Flirty Flamingo. And there are some pinks out there in the fall world. So I just want to get a little bit of pink on there. It's probably more burgundy, but I like the Flirty Flamingo. There we go. See, and you can see it's got a very subtle leaf pattern coming through there. Okay. Here we have pumpkin pie. Get some of the oranges in there. Yeah. See, and the more ink I'm laying on here, the more you can see the design from the embossed wax paper, the wax resist. Okay, and I think we'll just finish up with a dab of old olive. Put a little overlay of green on here, just to because it's early fall. There's still some green out there. And the DSP I'm using has green on it. Look, isn't that pretty? Just a subtle pattern in there. I like that. Okay. Those out of the way. Let me put these up here on top of my ink thing. Alrighty. Now, we've got all my stuff cut out. This is good. I've got ribbon here. This ribbon is so pretty, and it comes in a 2-pack. It's this natural linen and this copper. This is really pretty frayed. There's another, actually there are like 2 other videos that I've done fraying this ribbon. I'm kind of obsessed with it. Okay, so what do we want to do next? Okay, next I might want to go ahead and color in my pear, my pears. I've got Wild Wheat Stampin' Blends here. I'm going to start out with the dark. You know, these Stampin' Blends have a skinny end, a skinny line, and a thicker line. And those lines show you that this is the pen end, and this is the thicker brush end. But I'm just going to use the pen end, and I'm going to come in here on the little accent part, the shadow part from the artist. And yeah, I know I'm not doing it the neatest thing, but these are blends. And when you go over it with its other one, it pulls the color down and it mixes it in together and it blends so you don't have like harsh lines. Let me use the brush end on this. And it blends in together so you don't have the harsh demarcation line from the dark to the light. And it just kind of pulls it. They're alcohol markers. So it's just kind of pulling the color, and because it's on embossing, you don't have to be too careful of what kind of ink you used because it's been embossed. But there, we just kind of blend it all in, and that looks now like something that's hanging in the sunlight with the light on it. I'm going to take these scissors and my paper snips, and I'm just going to trim off a little bit of this extra that's on the outside of the embossing. You know, it leaves a little bit of extra border around it so it's not so skinny that it'll break, but there we go. Okay, now I'm going to put some old olive on these leaves. This is the light old olive blend. I'm just going right over it. It won't really stick to the embossing, but you know, you're going to have some ink then sitting on top of the embossing, so you might want to just take a cloth or a tissue and just wipe it off, just to make sure there's no ink sitting on there. Isn't that pretty? Look how quickly that got done. No time at all. Okay. Now let's go ahead and just form our card. Look how quickly this is coming together. I love this card. It's so easy, quick, and so pretty. Not too involved. Okay, so we're going to take this DSP, Designer Series paper from the All About Autumn. Is that not gorgeous? You know, I'm glad they give you several sheets of each design because it's so hard to decide sometimes which side of the paper you want to use. So I could use this side on here and build the whole thing on top of it. Let's go ahead and see how that would look. I'm going to take some of my multi-purpose glue. I like the multi-purpose glue. It gives you a minute, you know. Okay. And we're just going to put this in the middle here, the middle of my black. The black panel here is 2.5 by 5.5. Okay. And both of my ribbons are just like 6 inches long. So I need my tear and tape. I'm going to put a little bit of tear and tape here to hold that ribbon down. Whoops. And a little bit of tear and tape here to hold this ribbon down. We want the ribbon down the middle. I'm going to take my silicone craft mat out so that I don't get my tear and tape stuck to the paper here. Silicone craft mat is great when you're using adhesives because it'll keep you from making a mess. So, like here, this adhesive is a little bit wider than my ribbon, so if I put it down onto the paper, I would make a mess. I would have a problem. So there we go. I probably should have cut this a little bit longer. Okay, that's crooked. Let's move it. That's straight. Okay. Now I'm going to put a little bit more tear and tape across it because we've got the copper ribbon to put down. I love tear and tape. Okay, fold that back. Fold that off. Fold that back. Run it right up through the middle. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Okay, now which side do we like better? Sitting it like that or sitting it like that? Let's go with this. I do like that though. Let's see that with the... Let's finish putting this together and then we'll decide. Okay, on your... Here we've got I'm Thankful, and I'm going to take a couple of dimensionals, and I'm just going to put 2 dimensionals on the back of that. There we go. And I'm going to sit this in the middle of my panel right here. I'm Thankful. And then I'm going to take a bit of this foam adhesive strip. Ooh, what'd I do with it? For my little skinny tiny sentiment. So what I have is, I've got my sticky scissors. If you're cutting anything with an adhesive, I suggest you use just a pair of dedicated scissors for that. So I'm going to take a piece of this foam adhesive strip, and I'm going to cut it with my sticky scissors, and I'm going to put it on the back of this Today and Everyday. There we go. And I'm going to, oops, stick that right here. Right there. Okay. And I am going to use the green with metallic gold side because I just love my pears, and I want my pears to be a bit of a focal. If you use that gorgeous paper back there and you put the pears, I think it kind of detracts from it. Makes it a little too busy. So we're going to go ahead and put some liquid glue. Oh, that is so... Oops, it clicked off there. So anyways, as I was saying, if you like my card, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already hit subscribe, go ahead and hit subscribe so you'll easily find me again. There's a little bell right next to the subscribe word that's next to my name. If you click that, you'll get a notification the next time I post a video. And I'd love for you to come back. And if you've been here before, welcome back. So glad you're here. If this is your first time, I'm so glad you found me, and I do hope you'll come back. So until next time, keep making the world a beautiful place. Bye.